Hey everybody, welcome to your upper body and core workout. Just a couple of things. You're gonna need a mat and you're gonna need a set or two of dumbbells, moderate and heavy. We are going to have a push-pull focus, and you wanna make sure too that you're making the proper adjustments and modifications to your exercises because you know your body best. But you do wanna challenge yourself with weights that in your last few reps, right, are gonna cause that sort of muscular fatigue. And certainly controlled movement, especially when we're moving weight and working with precision and time under tension. So you're gonna start your very first block with a core block, 3 exercises. And for this particular block, go ahead and time yourself 30 seconds a piece. Give yourself 10-second transition from one exercise to the next. Complete one full round and then rest 15 to 30 seconds and then repeat the round 2 more times. So a total of 3 rounds. Let's take a look at what each of those exercises look like and with the appropriate options. All right, here's our first one. So we're going to go ahead and set up a plank position, shoulders over the wrist, belly button to spine, feet hip width apart or a little bit wider. And from here, you're going to draw the back of your head toward the ceiling, pack your head and neck, set up that plank position. You're gonna hinge the hips, sending the tailbone up toward the ceiling, extended arm. You'll shift back to that plank position and you're going to release right arm T, replace left arm T, right parallel to the ground, and then repeat. So it will be one hinge, followed by right and left T, all right, which is a 3-point plank. Option here, obviously, is to bring the knees down to the mat, create a straight line from head to knees, and work on that stabilization as you release the hands. And then certainly you can also work from an elevated surface and then lower down to the knees if needed. Awesome, so that's 30 seconds. Then you're gonna take it into a side plank rotation with lateral crunch, and that'll go right into your second exercise. So let's set that up. So you wanna place the hands horizontally, shoulders over the elbow, feet hip width apart, a little bit wider. And from here, we're gonna rotate to that side plank position, and you're gonna draw the back leg toward the chest, drawing the elbow to the knee, reset, and then place this hand back behind toward the chest, and then release the other side. You'll bring the hand to the side of the head, you'll bring the back knee toward the elbow, replace it, and then slide the arms underneath but toward your chest.
Do it one more time towards me.
So you're gonna open up to that side and then draw the back knee towards the chest and then open up that chest and shoulder and then thread the arm closest to you. And then you'll go into the other side. Back knee to elbow, replace, and then thread that arm closest to you. Coach, what is the option? Drop to the knees. As you rotate, come to the side knee, all right? And then you can bring your top knee toward your elbow and then replace it. Slide the arm through, go back to your knees, and then onto the other side. And you'll drive up, still working the obliques here, and then you'll thread that arm back through. That is exercise number 2. And then exercise number 3, bicycles. So you're going to set up the position so that you are wide elbows, lifting the head, upper back off the ground, and you're gonna rotate more shoulder to knee, and then you'll alternate sides. So you wanna fully extend the leg, just a few inches off the ground, but then pull the opposing knee toward the chest. Even better yet, if you can take your focus over towards your elbow that's on the ground. Your option here is to draw yourself up and keep one foot down on the ground so that you're a little bit more supported. And you'll alternate sides, resting the head back down on the ground in between each one. All right, so those are your 3 exercises for your very first core block, and you will do them 3 times, 30 seconds apiece, 3 full rounds. All right, there's your block 1. First up, you'll have hinge rows. So we want to set that up, shoulders down and back, feet hip width apart, a little bit wider, pack your head and neck, and then hinge, sending your hips back, belly button to spine, and keeping the back of the head toward the ceiling. And you're gonna squeeze those shoulder blades as you drive the elbows up toward the ceiling and then lower down with control. The knees are bent a good 15 to 20 degrees, and the shoulders are just above the hips. And we can keep this nice and tight, elbows in, or at 45 degrees to give those shoulders a little bit more space. All right, make sure there's that opening of the chest and that slight engagement, right armpits to hips. Cool, 12 reps. After that, you're going into an alternating shoulder press. So you'll set it up 45 degrees, wrist over elbow, the elbow slightly in front of the shoulder, and you're gonna alternate the drive toward the ceiling with a slow and controlled motion, lowering down. You'll lower down the elbow to shoulder height or just below, all right, allowing those lats to come back down, your back towards your hips. And then you'll set up the other side. So slow and controlled, keeping that chest nice and tall, punching the ceiling. Your knees are soft, right? There's that softness, right? Spine is floating. And then we go right into 12 reps of bicep curls. So again, maybe you need to reset. Roll your shoulders down and back, soften your knees. You can also take a split stance. Do what's appropriate, where you feel the most support on your lumbar spine. And you're gonna curl, going from a supinated curl back to a neutral position. All right, so nice and tall, chest is lifted, you're looking straight ahead, packed head and neck, and you're rotating palms toward you. And then as you lower down, you're going back to neutral, but keep those elbows right by your side. All right, so we want to avoid any shifting front to back with those elbows. So those are your 3 exercises at 12 reps apiece. After you complete 1 round of the dumbbell exercises, you will keep 1 dumbbell, and from here you're going to be going into 2 snatches, right side and left side. You'll place the dumbbell down, you'll walk out to a push-up, 2 push-ups, and 2 Superman, all right? So that we're working the posterior chain as well. And then you'll walk back up and repeat. We have 5 sets, so to speak. So look something like this. You'll drop in to a half squat, shoulders stay nice and square, and you're gonna lead up with your elbow, fire the weight up over the shoulder, reset it, and then bring it back to the shoulder, and you can re-rack it here before you drive down, all right? So as quickly as you can get that weight up, get under it, and then reset. You're using that power of the leg drive to help you get that weight out, up. And then you're switching sides. So 2 on each side, fire up, reset, chest up, do it again, keep that dumbbell really close to your body, and see if you can get that hand up before the legs, right, finish extending. You can place the dumbbell back down on the ground. You will walk out to that push-up position, and then you will drop in to 2 push-ups. Straight line from head to heels. Then you will lower yourself down, and you have 2 Superman. So back of the head toward the ceiling, getting the thighs off the ground, chest off the ground, or keep it to a T position if that feels a little bit better for your shoulders. So 2 of those. Press yourself up either as one unit or from the knees, and then walk yourself back to that squat position to restart. That was 1, and we got to do 5. Coach, what is the option? Show me that. So instead of a full snatch, we'll go into a half squat to upright row, leading with the elbow. You'll have 2 of them on the right side. Switch sides, 2 on the left side. Dumbbell down, walk yourself out to your plank position, lower to your knees, straight line from head to knees now. Lower yourself down with control. Superman option here would be an alternating version, 1 at a time. Complete 4 if you do this version. Otherwise it's 2 of both the arms and legs, and again back of the head toward the ceiling, and then go ahead and press yourself up. The option here would be to come up from the knees, tuck the toes, walk yourself back to that squat position, and then restart. And we have 5 sequences like that. After you complete 5 of that, so a total of how many push-ups? Well, it's gonna be 10 total, right? 5 times 2. And then you're gonna go back to your dumbbells and do those 3 exercises again before you repeat this segment for a total of 3 rounds, all right? So each component 3 times. Cool. So first up is your chest press from a hip bridge. So set that up with your knees over your ankles. You'll drive the hips up. We're gonna set this up at 45 degrees, wrist over elbow, adjust the wrist so that we're not sitting back. And then we're gonna drive over the shoulder. 45 degrees to the shoulder, 90 degrees to the elbow. And then fire up the weight, slow and controlled, coming down. And we're maintaining this bridge as we complete the exercise. If at any point you get fatigued, right, we can go into a 1 and 1 if we need to and press, but that is 12 total. All right, then you're gonna come into your second exercise. So this could be 1 heavy dumbbell or 2 lighter or moderately sized dumbbells butted together for a pull over. All right, so let's set that up. From here, we're coming into either you can keep your spine on the ground, or you can go from a bridge position and then extend the arms overhead, soft elbow bend, and then slowly come back over the chest, pulling the lats down towards your hips. So we want to avoid the shrugging of the shoulders and creating as much space from your ears to your shoulders. So again, maintaining the bridge, 3 counts down, slow and controlled long arms, and then drive it back over the chest. The other option certainly is tabletop position with that pull over, keeping the knees right over the hips. All right, and that is your second exercise, being a pull over. So we just did the chest press, then we went into a pull over, which is more chest and back and lats and serratus anterior. Now we're gonna go back to a pressing motion with a bicycle press. And here you wanna set this up so that your knees are over your hips, your wrist is over your shoulder, and as you extend your left leg, you're going to lower your right elbow to the ground for a punch. And you will alternate the firing toward the ceiling. Here, the knee can come a little bit tighter to the chest. That might support the back a little bit better here. And we'll alternate. And we're working on keeping the bottom leg off the ground. What's another option here? Well, perhaps we just, right, do 1 foot off the ground at a time, all right? And we would be a little bit more in this position here, and maybe swap sides so that you always have a little bit more back support, and that's totally fine, right? And then you'll slowly bring yourself up. Those are your 3 exercises for part 1. Let's look at part 2. So we're gonna be on our feet. Take your weights with you. Here's our power exercise. And you're gonna set this up so that we're doing multiple components here. As you remember, man makers have a lot going on. So let's set this up. Feet hip width apart, a little bit wider. Squat down, keeping the chest lifted. Plant the dumbbells firmly on the ground. Jump your feet back to plank position. 1 push-up, keeping a straight line from head to heels. 2 rows, aiming for the bottom of the ribs, keeping the hips nice and square. Jump the feet back in, chest up, and then come up for a curl, supinated grip to a 45-degree shoulder press. And then the option would be you squat down, you walk the feet back to plank position, lower the knees to the ground, press, again, straight line from head to knees, 2 rows. Remember, reset it at the bottom, underneath the shoulders. Lift your knees off the ground, walk your feet in, get your patootie down, chest up, come tall, and then that curl to the shoulder press, and then reset. How many? 5. All right, 5 sets. Then what? Go back to your mat. Start with your chest press, a bridge, your pullover, and your bicycle press. And then back to these man makers. 3 total rounds. Sweet. So you're gonna set up your shoulders right over your wrists. Again, that straight line from head to heels, and definitely at least from head to hip, right? And then you're gonna row, bottom of the ribs, alternating sides, working on that hip squaring. Obviously, we know the option here is to lower down to the knees, and in that case, we'll create that straight line from head to knees, working on keeping the hips down, all right? And elbow coming up toward the ceiling, and with that hand placement right here at the bottom of the ribs, all right? Elbow pull back, cool. Right immediately after you finish those 12, you'll go into a leg thread, maintaining the plank position, going to the blade of the foot, making sure the shoulders are over the wrist. The option here is to just drive the knee instead of a full leg thread. And certainly you may do this with hands flat on the ground as well, all right? Spreading those fingers out nice and wide, and then driving that knee to the chest, or a full leg thread, all right? And keeping those hips nice and square. As soon as you finish those 12, you will make your way onto the mat, and you will go into a tricep extension. Couple things here. We're gonna set this up tabletop, knees over hips, and you are working into a hinge. So make sure the shoulders are clear away from the ears. You're hinging at the elbows, coming right down towards your temples, your ears, and then full extension of those arms, all right? So check in with the wrists. So elbows stacked over the shoulder or slightly towards the ears, and then full extension of the arms. So again, watching the traps rising towards the ears. May have to reset this. And make sure you're drawing the belly button toward the spine, supporting the low back. There's gonna be a little bit of space under there, but make sure you're closing it up, all right, with that control and support so that you don't have an excessive arch under your low back. Coach, what is the option? Plant the feet flat on the ground and drive from there, or certainly you could maintain a hip bridge. Listen, there's a gazillion things I could do, right? I could go into a alternating leg march if I wanted to here as well. All right, so you've got plenty of options, but you're doing 12 reps a piece. Those 3 exercises paired together. In between every round, give yourself at least 30-second rest. all right? Sometimes up to a minute here, and then repeat the round. And then of course, stretch.